And we are live. We are live. What's going on, guys? Just a quick little live stream talking some boxing. Good weekend coming up, obviously. Devin Haney versus Jorge Linares. Interesting fight. Interesting step up for for Devin Haney. And in my opinion, the most interesting fight of the weekend, Nordine Ubali versus Nonito Donaire. That's going to be a great fight in itself. So, good weekend of boxing, two real good main events. And even on these undercards, you have some good fights, like Junkan Bayev versus Subriel Matias. So, yeah, all in all, a good weekend of boxing. Real good weekend coming up. Looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to it. We've got Mr. Popo in the house. Big up to Mr. Popo. Salute to you, man. Salute to you. Says, felt like shit, so I called into work. Now I'm chilling, hyped for the fights tomorrow. Yeah, me too, bro. Some real good fights tomorrow, man. Even like Martin J. Ward versus Azinga Fuzile. That's a good fight, man. That's a pretty competitive fight. And as you said, Shane Mosley Jr. versus Jason Quigley. Yeah, that's another good fight. I don't rate Jason Quigley all that highly, but he can be somewhat entertaining, as can Shane Mosley Jr. Again, I don't really rate Shane Mosley Jr. So that could be a good little fight. That could be a good little fight. Bit of a tear up, who knows? But yeah, I mean, both fights actually have some things to look out for on the undercards. The Showtime undercard actually is really good. The Donaire Ubali undercard's decent. Like Junkan Bayev versus Matias could be that could be the fight of the weekend. It really could be. And yeah, so some good fights coming up. I've actually got Donaire losing on points against Ubali. I've got a feeling, I've just got a feeling Ubali is going to be a bit too fresh, a bit too busy for Donaire. And I think Devin Haney is going to beat Linares on points. But we'll see. We'll see. They are interesting fights. They are interesting fights. There's no doubt about it. What are people going to watch? Donaire versus Ubali or Haney Linares? I mean, like me personally, if they are both on at the same time, I'll actually watch Donaire Ubali. I think it's a better fight in terms of like the competitive nature. I think it's a much more even fight, much harder to call in my opinion. So if these main events happen at the same time, I'm going to watch Donaire versus Ubali, but that's just my choice. I do like both fights, though. You know, I do like both fights. I've got the zone, so what I'll do is I'll probably watch Donaire Ubali and watch Haney Linares the next day, something like that. But yeah, man, hopefully we get a scenario where both fights, you know, start at slightly different times, so we can watch both fights in peace. That's what I'm hoping. But whether it happens or not, we shall see. We shall see. But yeah, I've got Devin Haney on points against Linares and Nordine Ubali on points as well. But I am rooting for Donaire in that fight. I can't lie. I am rooting for Donaire. I'd love to see Donaire do it again, 38 years old. Big up to Pigeon. Salute to Pigeon, man. Big up to you, sir. Yeah, Cash Ali's on tonight. Yeah. Crocodile Cash Ali. Big up to Tom Harrison. What happens if Wilder wins? Cheers. Well, if Wilder wins, man, there's no fourth fight between Fury and Wilder. You would imagine he's got to fight he's got to fight Joshua, really. He's got to fight Joshua, but whether he does or not, who knows, man. Listen, man, I'm done with predicting what's going to happen in the heavyweight division. I'm done with it. I'll just see how it plays out. I'll see how it plays out, and we'll go from there. But yeah, if Wilder wins, he's really got to see Joshua. He's really got to see Joshua, or the Joshua Usyk winner, if that fight happens. I think they are. I'm going to watch Donaire Ubali because I can just rewatch Haney Linares. Yeah, I'm the same, Jared. I'm the same. I'd rather watch that fight live, and I can watch Haney Linares in good quality on the zone. So yeah, I'm going to watch Donaire Ubali. And also, I think it's just a better fight, to tell you the truth. I think it's a better fight. It's more intriguing to me. Like, Ubali's a much smaller man, not that tested at the elite level. And obviously, Degale can punch, he can time you. So, but on the flip side, Degale is well past his best at this point. So I think it evens out to be a competitive fight. I can see either guy winning. I would say Ubali on points, hedged by Degale by KO, if I was a betting man. Exactly, Mr. Popo. Yeah, the heavyweight division's a circus. I agree. Wake me up when we get there with the heavyweight division. Wake me up when we get there. Again, I do like Joshua Usyk. I hope that fight happens next. I think that's a great fight. That's an interesting fight. So if that fight gets made, I'll be more than happy. But even that man right now is looking at even Joshua Usyk right now is looking a little bit dodgy. You know, Eddie's basically saying that, oh, if we can't agree a deal with Usyk, we'll vacate the belt. Well, that's what purse bids are for. If you can't agree a deal, just go to purse bids. How about that? But yeah, Eddie's sounding kind of suspect right now in regards to that fight. I hope it happens. But we'll see. Yeah, I'm not favouring Wilder, Pigeon. I'm not favouring Wilder. He's always got a puncher's chance, but Tyson should be too versatile. If Wilder wins, for people who will only watch heavyweights will boycott the WBC. I doubt it, Jared. People will still watch. Joshua's going to duck Usyk. I mean, Eddie Hearn, you know, he's dropped a couple of... For me, Eddie Hearn's dropped a couple of red flags in regards to that fight, you know, saying what he said. Again, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm not saying Joshua's going to vacate, but Eddie Hearn has mentioned it, and you never really like to hear that. At the end of the day, Joshua Usyk's a great fight, in my opinion at least. I really like that fight. I find it intriguing. Usyk's style is something completely different, and I want to see how those two guys match together. I'd actually favour Joshua, to tell you the truth, but I think it's a hard fight. I think it's a dangerous fight, hence why I want to see it. Isn't Joshua trying to fight Ruiz or Ortiz? Yeah, I mean, Eddie was saying about a third Ruiz fight, Mr. Popo. I'm not sure about Luis Ortiz. I know Luis Ortiz called him out, but yeah, Eddie was talking about a second Dillian White fight or a third Andy Ruiz fight. You know, after Andy Ruiz and his performance in the second fight, I've got no interest in that whatsoever. And also his performance against Chris Arreola. I mean, he looked terrible in that fight. So I've got no interest in Joshua Ruiz. Yeah, Joshua Ruiz 3. No interest whatsoever. I think White Joshua 2 does make sense, but down the line, not now. Usyk is a much better fight. Jalalov won. He's now in the Asian Games final. Anybody who thinks this man's not winning a gold medal is insane. Yeah, Bakadir Jalalov is he's the overwhelming favourite, no doubt about it, at super heavyweight. No doubt about it. Have you watched Big John's interview on BT's channel? He chats shit a lot, but I actually agreed with pretty much everything he said about the Joshua Fury mess. Yeah, I saw briefly what he said, Toby Plays. I saw briefly what he said. Yeah, basically calling it for what it is, an absolute shambles. The guys around Tyson Fury completely ballsing it up. Yeah, from what I saw on Boxing Scene, what little I read, yeah, I agree with John Fury. I agree. Team Fury dropped the ball. You know, the likes of Bob Arum, Frank Warren, etc. These guys dropped the ball. Do you think the two best welterweights want to fight? I mean, you could argue they are in Pacquiao and Spence. You could argue they are. But yeah, again, welterweight, I love Pacquiao versus Spence, but as for Spence versus Crawford, it's gone on so long now, I've just kind of lost interest, quite frankly. I've kind of lost interest. I'm not going to lose sleep over a fight that is nowhere near close to happening. But yeah, I'm satisfied with Spence versus Pacquiao. I think it's going to be a good fight. So we'll see what happens in the welterweight division. We'll see what happens. I hate all of the heavyweights except Joe Joyce, really. Fair enough, man. I like Joe Joyce. Big up to Boxing Source. Waiting for my train. Perfect timing. Pigeon, he says, Jamie Quinn, 106 losses, only KO'd 3 times, just on a Dennis Hobson card, and 7 wins. I watched the fight. He looked really good. Journeymen need more credit in boxing and more money. Yeah, the journeymen in boxing are the lifeblood of the sport for young fighters. On the come up. These guys can test young fighters, give these guys rounds. Yeah, there's no doubt about it, Pigeon. No doubt. Usyk isn't old enough to be his mandatory, according to Hearn. Hearn is just threatening Team Usyk to make the deal because they won't allow AJ to go to purse bids with any boxer, in my opinion. Yeah, maybe. But I would see that as like a PR disaster if they vacate that title, considering how long's Eddie Hearn been calling Eddie Hearn's been saying for years Joshua's main goal is to become undisputed. He wants all of the belts. If they were to give up the WBO now, it would look suspect, man. It would look really suspect. So I don't get why people are against that fight. I see certain Joshua fans against that fight, and they'd be happy for him to vacate. I mean, why? A lot of these guys have been telling us Usyk isn't shit at heavyweight anyway, so why wouldn't you want that fight if this guy's not shit? Why wouldn't you want it? But I think a lot of guys in the heavyweight division do see Usyk as a threat, At 42 years old, Luis Ortiz is the perfect age for a future Joshua opponent. Fuck's sake. Shannon Briggs versus Vladimir, is this for real? According to Shannon Briggs, Pigeon, yeah. According to Shannon Briggs. So take it with a grain of salt. But Shannon Briggs basically said that he's agreed to fight with Vladimir. I'd watch it, bro. I'd watch it. Be a bit of a circus, but why not? Why not? I'd watch it. Yes, big up to James Nunn. Big up to the chat. Loving the long weekends. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bank holiday weekend, boys. If there's a random Ukrainian billionaire interested in boxing, then Hearn won't allow it to go to purse bids, yeah. I like Eddie Hearn, but his acolytes, the Hearnites, are too cringe at times. Yeah, I agree, Pigeon. It's the same, though, with every fanboy of promoters. It's mainly it's mainly Matchroom and PBC, really. You see these guys fucking fanboying over one promotional outfit. It's crazy. It's crazy to me, man. A good fight's a good fight. I don't care who promotes it. Fucking Fred West could promote a good fight. I'll watch it. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, this whole fanboying over promoters garbage. I don't know where this came from, in all honesty. I don't know where this came from. This is new age social media bullshit. Got to fight against a 6'4" Southpaw tomorrow. Sorry, I've got to fight a 6'4" Southpaw tomorrow. Anybody got any tips? I've got a few from Ultra on one of his streams, but I'd like some more last-minute advice from people here. Is it Toby, is it amateur fight? Is it an amateur fight? Let us know if it's an amateur fight. So what are the chances for Wilder versus Usyk for undisputed? I mean, listen, stranger things have happened in boxing. Deontay Wilder only needs one shot. Tyson Fury could be beating him from pillar to post, makes one mistake and he gets knocked out. Stranger things have happened in boxing. And as for Usyk Joshua, I see it as a competitive fight. I wouldn't be shocked if Usyk won. I wouldn't necessarily pick him, but he's got a chance. It could happen, bro. It could happen. Thoughts on Fisher versus Lovejoy for Fight Camp? Chris is getting smoked. It's officially from Lovejoy's Insta, and Fisher put it on his story. Okay, cool. So yeah, Chris Lovejoy versus Jonathan Fisher or Johnny Fisher. Yeah, Johnny Fisher smashes him up. Easy. Chirac UK, what you having for dinner? I've got some chicken ready, bro. I've got some chicken ready. Bit of Cajun seasoning. Nothing too special. Nothing too special. Yeah, no Philly shell, Toby. Great point by Crazy D3. No Philly shell. Yeah, remember when Bob said about announcing a big pay-per-view fight for Crawford? Soon, that was weeks ago. And sounds like Porter's fighting Ugas. Okay, so Porter's fighting Ugas again, apparently. Interesting. But yeah, Terrence Crawford right now, he's in no man's land. I mean, there's a potential Josh Taylor fight in the future. That'll be a good fight for him. I mean, listen, if I'm Terrence Crawford, I'm telling Bob Arum to try and make Virgil Ortiz an offer. That's who I'd be trying to fight if I was Terrence Crawford. Get this guy when he's young, because if you wait too long, this guy's only going to get better. Why not try and fight this guy now? He's young, he's unbeaten, he's got a lot of hype, and it would be a good win for Terrence Crawford. And it would generate a lot of interest. Let's be honest about it. It would generate a lot of interest. Yeah, fake an injury, Toby. JDAF, he says, like you, Del, I'm genuinely interested in the Vladimir comeback. Guy's an elite level athlete and a total pro. Doubt he would make a fool of himself. I agree, JDAV. I agree. I think he'll do okay. Yes, we got Julio Cesar Martinez in the house. Yes, big up to Julio, man. One of my favorite fighters in the game. Yeah, bro, just follow your gut instinct, Toby. Follow your gut instinct. Listen to your trainer, and that's really it, man. I don't want to get you knocked out, bro. Yeah, Vladimir's an elite level ped user. Yeah, more than likely. I think most of these guys are on PEDs, man. Yeah, I wouldn't sign a rematch clause. Crazy. I wouldn't sign a rematch clause. If I'm a mandatory, I personally wouldn't. If Fury was a fighter from years ago, if Fury was a fighter from years gone by, he would have fought Wilder in July and Joshua in August. Yep. Facts. Okay, so it's with your mate at the gym to celebrate the fact we're allowed to properly train again, but I'm taking it seriously like it's one of my amateur fights. Okay, cool. I get you, Toby. I get you. Yeah, Wilder, Usyk, for undisputed is yeah, can you imagine? Can you imagine? It'll be hilarious, man. It'll be fucking hilarious. Can you imagine the fucking scenes if Usyk beats Joshua, Wilder knocks out Fury? The absolute scenes. Yeah, the return of the great Cash Ali. Was Vladimir ever done for PEDs? Not sure he ever was, though. No, Vladimir wasn't done for PEDs, but from what I remember, Vitali actually admitted steroid use in the amateurs, something like that. So I'm sure most of these guys are on something. I've never fought or sparred anybody like him, so it's going to be interesting, laughing my ass off. You'll be fine, man. You'll be fine. Crawford should have taken the 25% Spence, yeah, to fight Spence. Apparently, Frank's going to put on a double header for Fury Wilder 3 like they did last time, featuring Joyce, Arthur, Johnson, and Yard, according to Warren. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. See, why not have Callum Johnson, Lyndon Arthur? That's a fucking great fight. That's a great fight. If we could get that one done. Great domestic fight. Lyndon Arthur, Callum Johnson. Put Anthony Yard in there with somebody half decent with a pulse. And same with Joe Joyce. Get these guys in good fights. That'd be a good night of boxing. Big up to Mad Chad Boxing. Salute to Mad Chad. Every single time. Good man, good man. Yeah, smash the like, as Mad Chad said, man. Always helps the channel out, man. Always helps us out. So smash the like. Be much appreciated. Yeah, Joyce Ortiz on the undercard would be so good. Yeah, man, that'll be a great fight, Bump of K. Great test for Joe Joyce. I know Luis Ortiz is getting on now, but I think Luis Ortiz gives Joe Joyce some problems at least. He'll take him some rounds. Southpaw, kind of tricky. Be a good little test. Be a good test. Just hope Cash Ali does not bite this dude tonight. Yeah, exactly. Usyk will never beat Joshua on points. British Boxing Board of Control, the judges know where their bread is buttered. Yeah. Yeah, I think Usyk, his best chance in that fight's late stoppage by accumulation. You know, picking away at the body, slowing down Joshua, and then, you know, basically attacking late on kind of thing. Trying to stop Joshua via accumulation. I think that's his best chance. Yes, big up. Yeah, Ricardo Myoga, man. Joyce Ortiz for Sloth versus the Turtle. Oh, no worries, Toby, man. He's off to have a quick session. Catch everybody later. Cool. Nice one, bro. Will you be partaking in any side dishes with the chicken? Nah, bro. Not really, man. Not really. Yeah, 114, 112 was insane in Taylor Ramirez. I agree. Fuck knows, Jared. Fuck knows, man. I've got no idea what channel that's on. No idea whatsoever. Yeah, I think 8-4 is about right, Pigeon. About 8-4 is about right. I'm not going to attempt to read that, Angelo, but big up to you. Big up to you. Did you like Charles Cartwheel? I did indeed, yeah. I did indeed, yeah. Guy looked fucking like his hip gave out. How risky is a Morata fight for Golovkin? Could it torpedo Golovkin Canelo 3 for May 2022? I think it could be potentially dangerous. Morata's not the greatest boxer in the world, but he's quite tough. He hits hard. He brings a lot of pressure. And at 40 years old, listen, the wheels could fall off for Golovkin at any point now. So potentially it could be a dangerous fight. And it's in Japan as well, let's not forget. So it could be a dangerous fight. I don't mind the fight, to tell you the truth. I actually quite like the fight. It's definitely going to be a fun fight. I just want to see Golovkin fight somebody decent in the summer as well. I don't want to wait till December to see a good fight for Golovkin. I want to see Golovkin fight somebody decent in the summer. You know? But yeah, all in all, it's a good fight. I think Morata could be dangerous, but we'll see. We'll see. Thoughts on Ritson versus Ponce? Apparently, it's going to feature Scott Fitzgerald, Cyrus Patterson debut, April Hunter, Joe Laws with 1,000 fans. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, Ritson versus Ponce could be interesting, but the rest of it, not really interested, to tell you the truth. Cannabinoid hypermesis syndrome, never heard of it. 2 docs have said I have it. So sick, vomiting, thought I was terminal. Lucky it's only no more weed. Yeah, I'm smoking the last of what I've got right now, man. Well, I've basically just finished it, so yeah, no more weed, man, no more weed. Ritson is a Ponce. Morata UD versus Golovkin. It's not in the USA. Yeah, listen, man, Morata, he's a tough dude. He's got a good chin. Like I said, brings decent pressure, works the body well, throws a fair few punches. I think it could be a good fight. We saw how Derevianchenko was giving Golovkin problems. Morata, listen, he's not as technically good as Derevianchenko, but he is bigger and he does hit harder. So could be interesting. But I think it'll be a good fight. It'll definitely be a fun fight, no matter who wins. What beverage will you use to wash down the chicken? Probably some San Miguel. I've got some San Miguel in the fridge. Yeah, Jason Quigley's a big favourite. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Okay, Ricardo Moyaga soon's going to... Sorry, he's going to return to boxing. He's announced it. Jesus Christ. Ricardo Moyaga must be fucking 40 now. No, 50, sorry. Maybe. I don't know. He must be getting on, like mid-40s. Guy's ancient. He needs to leave it alone, man. He'll get hurt. Eddie already made his decision on DAZN or Sky, apparently. Going to be announced soon, but we already know, yeah. For Real Cone Gaming, what's up, Dale? Hope you're doing good. Also, thanks for the follow on Twitter. No problem, bro. No problem whatsoever. I saw you was following me, so I thought I'd follow you back, man. I didn't realise, bro. I didn't realise. Exactly, Pigeon, yeah. Tea and biscuits 4 or 5 times a day. Good to replace for weed. Yep. Can't argue with that. Would love to watch a Myoga exhibition. Never seen him live. Yeah. Myoga's too fucking crazy, man. He's a crazy dude. But yeah, I wish we had a Myoga now in boxing. You know, that sort of crazy guy, man. We don't really have that in boxing right now. I wish we had a Myoga currently in boxing. So yeah, he's actually coming back, yeah? Ricardo Moyaga. Damn. Yeah, that's fucked up, man. That guy's gonna get seriously hurt. He's gonna get fucked up. But listen, man, if he wants to do it, he wants to let him, I guess. Who am I to say he shouldn't do it? Fuck it. If he wants to do it, let him. Yeah, big up to Matthias Unboxing. Yeah, bro, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Just looking forward to this weekend. Long weekend, man. Bank holiday. Fight camp's going to start July 14th if a Fury Wilder fight happens. Sorry. Fight camp's going to start July 14th if the Fury Wilder fight happens on the 31st. Okay. Yeah, when Myoga slapped Shane Mosley's wife ass. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, Myoga was a lot better when he was like a world level fighter. Like the amount of the trash talk, man, was fucking crazy. Like what he was saying to De La Hoya and guys like that, man. It's crazy what he was saying. Like he would get cancelled today. Honestly, he would get cancelled so easily. Like people are too soft these days, man. They would instantly cancel Myoga if he was around now. What temperature will you consume the San Miguel at? Fucking hell. Okay, no exhibition, just a pro fight then. Okay, cool. Yeah, exactly. Myoga's crazy as fuck, man. But he, like I said, though, he would honestly get cancelled. Big up to Luke Peterson. Is Khan's glass chin a myth? Recently rewatched the Maidana fight. He didn't go down and he took some big shots, but he made Algieri look like George Foreman later in his career. Was he just shot? Yeah, he was definitely past his best at that point. Jared Thompson. Amir Khan, listen, his chin wasn't great, but I think the worst thing for Amir Khan was obviously his defense. And when he got hurt, he wasn't a guy really who could see himself through a crisis, didn't hold enough. You know, he was kind of always fighting fire with fire when he got hurt. So he wasn't the greatest at managing a crisis in the ring. But yeah, his chin wasn't great. His chin wasn't great. Maybe not quite as bad as people made out, but it wasn't good. Yeah, Warren should make an offer for Johnson versus Buatsi. Johnson didn't seem keen on the fight when he was with Matchroom, but I really want this fight. Yeah, it'd be a great fight, bro. It'd be a great fight. See, I heard other things from other people about that fight. Apparently, Callum Johnson wanted that fight, but the money was so poor that he didn't take it. That's what I heard. But who knows? Who knows what the real truth is? Yeah, I saw boxing scene cover it, Jazz. I saw boxing scene cover it. And yeah, from what I saw, I agree with what John Fury said. Yeah, great fight, Cone Gaming. Yeah, Subriel Matias versus Batsian Junkombayev. Yep, great fight. That's a real hard one to call. Subriel Matias, obviously more proven in the pro ranks, whereas Junkombayev is a technically better boxer, better amateur as well. Both guys, though, are quite aggressive. Junkombayev is more of a boxer puncher, whereas Matias is a pure pressure fighter. It's going to be a hard fight to call, man. I could see Matias just outworking him and drowning him, or maybe Junkombayev could walk him onto something big or outbox him. I've got no idea, to tell you the truth, but I think it's going to be a violent fight. I think somebody's going to get seriously hurt. Maybe both guys get seriously hurt. It's one of those fights, man. It's going to be a lot of carnage. A lot of carnage. What was he saying to De La Hoya? I don't speak that language. Oh, he was just he was calling him like a faggot and whatnot for singing. Just, that sort of stuff, man. He was just talking shit, like vulgar shit, but I found it funny. I found it funny. Okay, I've got Man City. Yeah, Man City. Crazy D3. 2-1 Man City. I can't see Chelsea winning it. I think City have just got too much all over the pitch. 2-1 Man City. Man City will go 2-0 up and Chelsea will score a late goal. Who wins, a prime Hatton or prime Maidana? So at 140, I think prime Maidana was 147 and I think prime Hatton was 140. But hypothetically, I'd probably say Hatton in a real close fight. Christian Galagos, big up to you, sir. Was having a discussion about who is the greatest boxer of all time. I said top 3 are Sam Langford, Harry Greb, and Ray Robinson. Again, personally, I wouldn't disagree. That's not really my jazz. I don't really, make rankings or discuss who's the greatest. Never really been my thing, to tell you the truth, but I wouldn't call you crazy. The Warren card before Fury Wilder is at Albert Hall. That's a great venue for boxing. Yeah, I agree. It looks lovely. It looks fucking great. It looks great. Yeah, I did hear Joe Gallagher wasn't happy with the money. Yeah, that's what I heard, JD. And I heard people around, I heard somebody in the scene say that Team Buatsi wasn't keen on the Callum Johnson fight. That's what I heard. But again, you don't really know what's true, to tell you honestly. You don't really know what's true. Martin J. Ward versus Azinga Fusile. What do you reckon? I think that's a 50-50 fight as far as I'm concerned. Just because I'm assuming Fusile's the underdog at the bookies, I might go with him because he's a decent fighter. I'm really finding it hard, CM Fox, with that fight. I'm finding it hard. I might lean towards Matthias based on his experience, but Junkan Bayev could definitely win. But I'm going to go with Matthias on points. That's my guess. It's going to be a hard fight, though. It's going to be a hard fight. Jared Thompson thinks Maidana knocks out Patton. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Yes, big up to G-Man Boxing. Salute to G-Man. By the way, a real good channel, G-Man Boxing. Real good channel. So if you've not checked out G-Man, where the fuck have you been? Give him a follow, man. Give him a follow. Put the beers in the freezer for 40 minutes, trust me. No, I do that all the time, bro. I do that all the time. If Khan versus Mayweather went down in 2015, who wins it and how does it go? I think Amir Khan could give Floyd some problems in the first 2-3 rounds. But once Floyd started to recognize the patterns of Khan's movement, I think that's when you'll see that pull counter right hand. He'll start timing Amir Khan. And I wouldn't be surprised if Amir Khan gets dropped a couple of times. But Floyd wins on points after dropping Khan a couple of times. That's what I would say. Tomorrow night, my most hyped fight of the year, my favourite fighter of all time returning after almost 2 years out. And tomorrow night, he's going to become a 3-time bantamweight champion and win his 9th world title. Of course, you're talking about Nonito Donaire. Going to be a good fight. What do you make of Zepeda? He looked gun-shy to me. He's getting stopped by Josh if they fought, by Regis also. I think with Zepeda, it could be that he's gun-shy. It could be. But Jose Zepeda is a guy who naturally is a counter-puncher. He likes it when a guy comes forwards and attacks him, kind of thing. He can mix it up with you. He can fight with you. But ultimately, he's a counter-puncher. He's not great at tracking down a guy who can move, a guy who's awkward. I think it was just a bad style matchup, to tell you the truth. I think it was a bad style matchup. Yeah, Mayweather UD. Loved a bit of Convo. He was entertaining. I agree. Thoughts on Ritson's next fight? He seems to lack power at 140. Yeah, his power at 140 is nothing like it was at lightweight. Nothing like it at all. And listen, if this Ponce kid is a half decent boxer, he's got a chance because Luis Ritson at 140 has not convinced me whatsoever. I felt he clearly lost to Miguel Vasquez and went life and death with Robbie Davis Jr. So Luis Ritson is a good domestic fighter, nothing more, nothing less. So if this Ponce guy is of any decent level, more than likely Luis Ritson will lose. But we'll see what he's about. We'll see what he's about. I need to do some research on this Ponce guy. A bit of San Miguel. Some complete oxygen thief told me yesterday that Andrade has a better resume than Amir Khan. No, Polinaji has a 10 times better resume than Andrade. I agree. Malinaji, you mean? Yeah. Yeah, Amir Khan's resume was decent, man. Amir Khan's resume was decent. Kotelnik, Maidana, Malinaji, Devin Alexander, Zab Judah. He got some good wins, man. He got some good wins, Amir Khan. He definitely got some good wins. And he took some challenges as well. Will AJ vacate his belt instead of fighting Usyk? I think he'll fight him for some reason, Jonathan. For some reason, I think he'll fight him. But listen, I thought Joshua and Fury were going to fight. That never happened. So what the fuck do I know? What the fuck do I know? But I hope he fights him. I hope he fights him. That Junkan Bayev has been hurt before, hasn't he? Yeah. I'm sure. Sorry. I saw him down, unless that was another guy I got mixed up with. I don't remember. Honestly, I don't recall him being dropped or hurt, CM Fox. I know he struggled with Michael Fox, I think his name is. I've seen him struggle before, but never really get hurt. I think Zepeda might need an opponent that he feels is a threat to him to put on a good performance, so Taylor could bring the best out of him, but Taylor would probably still stop him. I agree, yeah. I agree. Yeah, Lewis Ritson is not that good at all. He's been signed because the Newcastle fans are desperate to get behind something half successful. Yeah, Lewis Ritson, listen, he's an honest pro. He's fun to watch, but he's domestic level. And he's not improved whatsoever in the last 2 or 3 years. Yeah, Matthew Hatton and Amir Khan, only dudes to put it down on Canelo, yeah. They actually tried. San Miguel can't get that here. Have to stick to Smithwicks tonight. Fair play, bro. Hated seeing Khan get robbed versus Peterson. Also, Bradley docked him hard at 140 before moving to fight Pacquiao. Yeah, I mean, to me, the Peterson fight was close, to be honest. I didn't think that fight was a robbery. I felt the referee was bad, don't get me wrong, but the actual scorecards, I thought that was a very close fight, to tell you the truth. I thought it was a very close fight. Usyk's got these big clunky guys running. Big up to Nordic, by the way. Big up to Nordic. Remember Hearn was mentioning Ritson versus Taylor in 2019. Can you imagine? That's a demolition job for Josh. Yeah. Lewis Ritson would get fucking smashed to pieces. But from a promotional point of view, it would make sense. If you're trying to build Josh Taylor, it would definitely make sense because the Newcastle guys would come out to support. And, you know, it would do decent numbers on TV. So it'll be good for Josh Taylor, you know, in terms of profile in the UK, that sort of fight. Lamont Peterson on PEDs took Khan's career back 5 years, in my opinion. Yeah, Lamont Peterson was on rocket fuel against Amir Khan Pigeon. Sounds like Joshua might vacate from how Hearn was talking. If he does that, it's a bad look. I agree. I don't see how you can paint it any other way if he does vacate that title. Hello, Dale. Who do you think is the biggest threat for AJ between Usyk, White, or Ruiz? I would say Usyk is Joshua's biggest threat out of all of those guys. Personally, I would say Usyk's his biggest threat. Andy Ruiz right now, I can't count on. I thought he looked terrible in the Areola fight. And obviously in the second Joshua fight, he shit the bed. So Andy Ruiz hasn't looked good since that first Joshua fight. Ever since then, he's looked like shit. So I can't really count on him. Dillian White is obviously a puncher. Decent left hook. But, I mean, wasn't so long ago this guy got flatlined by a granddad. So I've got to go Usyk. Yeah, Khan had 8 world title fights at 140. Only one was ranked outside the ring top 10. You don't see that often nowadays. Froch was another. Yep, I agree. Yeah, there was a point in time when Amir Khan was fighting a lot of hard fights. Yeah, if Usyk comes in too heavy, Joshua is definitely going to be the favourite. I got Froch stopping Kawasaki, and I don't care if I sound insane. I wouldn't say you sounded insane, Pigeon, but I just think it's extremely unlikely, to be honest. I think Froch gets outworked in that fight. kind of like 9-3 type of score. I think he gets outworked. How does Catterall fare against Taylor? I think he get John Wayne. Big up to John Wayne, by the way. He says, how does Catterall fare against Taylor? I think he gets stopped myself. I agree. I think he could be awkward early on for Josh Taylor. But, once Josh Taylor figures him out, mid to late stoppage for Josh Taylor. Did AJ duck for GOAT Dave Allen? Ed Hickey, big up to Ed. Peterson was on synthetic testosterone. Yeah, he was. Junkon Bayev was dropped 2 times by a guy named Enes. One of those knockdowns was by a body shot. Enes got TKO'd by Matthias in 4 rounds. That was his first fight back after the Dadashev fight. Interesting. I thought it was a close fight, Nordic, to tell you the truth. I thought it was a close fight. Pascal versus Jack rematch. Who wins? I would go Jack, since I felt he edged the first fight, and he'll do it a bit more clearly this time. I agree. I agree with your assessment. I felt Jack won the first fight as well. Yeah, styles make fights, but I'm pretty confident that Matthias will win. I'm leaning towards Matthias. I'm leaning towards him. If you add Usyk's fights, amateur and professional, it's 368, and Joshua is 43, yeah. I've got Froch beating Kawasaki too. Interesting. I can't see Usyk getting a decision against Joshua. He will have to knock him out, I agree. He'll need to completely school Joshua to get a decision. They have till Tuesday for the Usyk deal, I think. Oh, that's going to be interesting, Michael Van Gerwen. That's going to be very interesting. How goes it, Del? Have you watched this Netflix series called Monzon, A Knockout Blow? Just started it last night and it's pretty good. Monzon was damn crazy. Yeah, he was, man. Carlos Monzon was fucking insane. Great fighter, though. Great fighter. One of the best middleweight champions of all time. See, I prefer Carlos Monzon to Hagler, personally. Stylistically, I prefer Monzon's style. And he's one of those fighters where you can watch back and you can see him doing well in the modern era kind of thing. But I like Carlos Monzon. Usyk has put the weight on properly. Muscle, mass, not fat. Yeah, he looks good, man. He looks very good. I'm one of Froch's biggest fans. Was at Wembley, but he's losing 8-4 to Kawasaki. Kawasaki, all-time great. Froch, Hall of Fame, levels to it. I agree, Mitra. I don't think it's going to be a schooling like some Kawasaki fans say, but I think he decisively beats Cole Froch. Like you say, 8-4, maybe 9-3. Froch will have his moments, but Kawasaki's just too busy, too fast, too agile, too unorthodox. He beats Cole Froch. Big up to Jim McDonald Boxing. Salute to Jim. Nice of you to drop by, bro. We got Apology Man in the house as well. Big up to Apology. Sorry, why is it that some results get changed on a positive test and some don't? Is it dependent on the commission? I presume so, Jared. I presume so, yeah. Your guess is as good as mine in regards to that. I think the WBO's letter said they have 10 days to negotiate a deal. So yeah, should be Tuesday then. Be interesting. I'm really intrigued to see how that pans out, Mitra. Really intrigued. Yo, you know who it is and you know where I am. Yes, speak up to Apology. Pigeon says Kawasaki's resume is not all of that. A 43-year-old Bernard Hopkins, a shot Roy Jones. I give him credit for Jeff Lacey only, as Jermaine Taylor was finished by the time Kawasaki fought him. Jermaine Taylor? Do you mean Roy Jones? Kessler was a good win for Kawasaki. I think Kessler was a very good win. Sakia Bika was a decent win. Like you say, Jeff Lacey. And you've got to give him credit for Bernard Hopkins, because Hopkins went on to beat what's dude's name, Kelly Pavlik. He beat Jean Pascal as well after that fight. Like, Hopkins was a good win. Kawasaki versus Froch in a 20-rounder. Froch lands on Kawasaki. He's in big trouble. But yeah, Kawasaki is fast. Probably stay out of a way. Great head movement. Yeah. This would be interesting. Kawasaki versus Canelo at super middleweight. Again, it's Kawasaki's work rate. It's Kawasaki's work rate. If Canelo can't hurt Kawasaki, he gets outworked. Because, yeah, Canelo's got great defense. He's got great head movement, but Kawasaki's punch output, his hand speed, and the angles which he attacked at would make it for Canelo. It would make it very difficult for Canelo to defend against. So I think Canelo gets outworked if he can't hurt Kawasaki. If he can hurt Kawasaki, he can win the fight. But if he can't, he gets outworked. Oh yeah, Eubank, yeah. Oh yeah, I've got Badu Jack on points. Crazy, Badu Jack on points. I thought Badu Jack won the first fight. Kawasaki rarely took a shot flush, and Froch's big punches were telegraphed. Yeah, Kawasaki had decent defense. He could get caught in between his exchanges. Sometimes he'll get overzealous and get caught, but I just think Kawasaki's way too busy for Kyle Froch, way too fast, way too fit, way too active. For Hopkins, that fought Tito versus Prime Canelo, who would win? It definitely goes for distance, Jazz. It definitely goes for distance, but Canelo wins. Even if he loses, he wins. You know what I'm getting at. Yeah, Kawasaki's power wasn't bad at all. Froch beat Taylor, yeah, he did. The worst fight I've ever seen is Jermaine Taylor versus Corey Spinks. Yeah, that was fucking horrible. I think that was the fight where Emmanuel Stewart was going crazy. Maybe. Calver battered onion rings Froch, loses to Kawasaki 10-2 or 9-3 in my opinion. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I would say 9-3, 8-4 type of fight. Glad I said Jermaine Taylor, as Froch fought him and was over the hill too when Froch fought him. Yep. Badu Jack, Dimitri Bivol. I'd say Bivol on points. Yes. Yeah, Manny Stewart was going fucking crazy. That was the fight, yeah. Longevity is massive in boxing. Kawasaki had 21 title defenses at 168 over 10 years, won all 4 belts in the division, lineal and ring. Otke ducked him. Else he would have been the man and consensus 168 GOAT. Yeah, that's fair. I know some of Kawasaki's defenses weren't the greatest, but you know, he fought some good guys. He fought some top contenders. He beat other champions, you know. So yeah, he had a great run, a great run at 168, Kawasaki. And it's a shame we never got the Sven Otke fight. Would have been I think Kawasaki would have beaten Sven Otke, to be honest. But it would have been interesting. It would have been interesting to see it. Again, you know, Sven Otke was a good technical boxer, nice tight guard, good jab, but very methodical, not much of a puncher. I can't see how he neutralizes Kawasaki. I can't see it. Yeah, he could give Kawasaki a few problems here and there, but Kawasaki just outworks him, in my opinion. Corey Spinks, what a stinker he was, yeah. Yeah, fat boy Kawasaki could slap hard, laugh out loud. Seriously, he had good power, and that hand speed was insane, yeah. Very impressive, very impressive. Ed Hickey, Price versus Fury in 2012-2013 seemed like a slide duck from Fury at the time. I agree with that, by the way, because it was kind of Tyson Fury who was always kind of negative in regards to that fight. But if it did happen, I would pick Tyson Fury. I was never sold on David Price. I know it's easy to say in hindsight, but that's truly how I felt at the time. I wasn't really that sold on David Price. And what really cemented it for me was the Matt Skelton fight, how easy Matt Skelton got on his chest and was working him over. You know, I knew that David Price would get knocked out sooner or later, and I actually bet on Tony Thompson as well. So yeah, I would have backed Tyson Fury back then. Adonis Stevenson versus Kawasaki at 175. That'll be an interesting fight, you know. That'll be a very interesting fight. Adonis, stylistically, could be a very dangerous fight for Kawasaki. Obviously, both guys are southpaws. Kawasaki had a greater work rate, but Adonis was extremely dangerous from the outside with that sniper left hand. If he caught Kawasaki coming in square on, he could seriously hurt Kawasaki. From a stylistic point of view, I think that's a real hard fight to call, to be honest. That's a real hard fight to call. That would be a good fight, though. Be a good fight. Yeah, Kawasaki's hands were a mess late in his career. He had to slap, yeah. Yeah, Kawasaki could barely work the heavy bag towards the end. He was barely doing any sparring. Yeah, his hands were a mess. Otke, what a complete clown he was. Kawasaki would have tore holes in Otke, yeah. Pigeon thinks Kawasaki stops Otke. I would say UD. I would say UD. Like, Otke was tough. He was defensively sound. He was defensively sound. Yes, I knew. We converted Pigeon. We converted Pigeon. Yeah, Fury won. Yeah, Tyson Fury did duck David Price back in the day. Price gave birth to one of the best post-fight interviews ever. Shout out to Tony Thompson. Yeah, facts. Del, your second channel's gone to the moon. Big up. Yeah, it's doing okay, bro. It's doing okay. It's doing okay. It's not doing too bad at all. I've not actually checked on it in a couple of days, so not sure where we're at right now. I think we're on like nearly 7K, maybe 7K subs, something like that. Yeah, 7.2, which is not bad at all. For 5 videos, 7.2K subs is pretty respectable. Pretty respectable. Who'd have thought, yeah, who'd have thought people would rather hear me talk about people getting fucked up rather than boxing? Who would have thought? I'll tell you what, I'm glad I've got no more of this fucking weed, man, because it does me in. I can barely fucking speak. I genuinely, Mitra, I actually thought Otke beat Glenn Johnson. Honestly. Close fight, though. Yeah, James Degale loved the Eubank ITV face-off when Eubank turned up in that coat with the furry collar, and Degale called Eubanks a birdman. Yeah. It's hilarious. Need a stream for Cash Ali fight tonight. Can't be asked paying. Yeah, I'm not paying for it, bro. Fury could likely beat Joshua and Wilder one after the other. Yeah, potentially. Yeah, James Degale I like James Degale, Pigeon. I've always liked James Degale. The guy was a good troll, James Degale. He used to get under people's skin really, really well. James Degale did a great job at that. You have 200K views on your second video. Yeah, I think it's a bit more than that now. It's done really well. Done mad well. We live in a results-oriented society. If Golovkin got the verdict versus Canelo wouldn't be talked about as pound for pound. Yeah, that's the reality, Jazz. Like three judges literally control how a fighter is viewed in this current time and when they retire historically. So it's sad when you see a fighter get robbed of a big victory, which you know would completely change the narrative in regards to their careers. So let's say, for example, Golovkin got that first Canelo fight, which he should have done. Like, people would view him a lot differently than they do now. Kovalev Ward is another good example to me. Like, if Kovalev got that Ward victory, first man to beat Andrade Ward in America, that would have been a massive win on his resume, like a huge win. But because he didn't get that win on paper, It goes against him, even though I know what I saw, kind of thing. It's one of those things. There was a gap in the market, and you pounced. Fair play. Yeah, that was a bad one, bro. That was a very bad one. Yeah, it's grim as fuck. Yeah, definitely Pigeon. Yeah, people called Degale a chav, but I found him quite funny. So did I, man. I like people who can wind others up. I like wind up merchants, to be honest. Any other videos planned? Yeah, I've got a couple of videos planned. I've got a couple planned. Yeah, when he told George Groves his breath stinks. You're gassed off your peanut. Yeah. Ah, dear. That's a great fight, Jared. Carl Froch Eubank Sr. That's a great fight. That's a great fight. It'll be a war. Be an absolute war. I think I think Carl Froch was more relentless. He was more aggressive than Eubank, but Eubank was a better technical boxer. But Eubank could be very lazy in certain fights. You know, his volume was very low at times. I could see Carl Froch maybe outworking him in a real close fight, or I could see Eubank Senior outboxing him. I think it'll be similar to like maybe the first Kessler fight. I think it'll be very, very, very similar. Just a very close fight. Could go either way. I thought Ruiz might be the guy Fury passes the torch to, but I'm not sure now. Areola had major power advantage. Yeah, I thought Ruiz looked pretty poor. Yeah. When Degale said to Groves, "Sit down, you clown. Where do you get that pie from?" Yeah. So look at his swagger. Yeah, Degale's sister as well. You can't hate on that. Yes, big up to Big Boys Boxing in the house. Salute to Big Boys Boxing. Another good channel, by the way. Check him out. Real good channel. Covers the heavyweights. Real good channel. Yeah, Groves in a suit and tie looked like a door-to-door salesman. Yo, have you seen this guy's fucking hair transplant? Pigeon. Yo, he was on the Channel 5 show the other day, and he was out here looking like a fucking weatherman with his new fucking haircut, with his new hair transplant. It's crazy. He looks so weird with that hair. Yeah, we can all have a pull and a push. When Dell makes his first million from his second channel, he's going to run a stable of fat bitches and use Michael Hunter as his security. Yeah, smack the like, man. Smack the like, indeed. Yeah, hitting the like always helps, man, with these YouTube nerds, these fucking, what do you call them? It always helps with the algorithm. There's no doubt about it. Always helps. So the second channel is called Disturbed Reality. Disturbed Reality. Not boxing related, it's something completely different. So what I'll do for you, I'll put you a link in the chat so you can follow it. Boom, there you go. Yeah, I think it's similar. I think it's similar to the Bernard Hopkins fight. Very messy, very rough, very awkward, close fight. But I think that's one of those fights where in America, maybe Andre Ward nicks it, but in the UK, Joe Kawasaki gets the decision. It's going to be one of those sort of fights. Could be very controversial, but I'd say Joe Kawasaki nicks it, but could be a messy fight. Yeah, Eubank Senior Prime was fire. Yeah. Also, yeah, people always kind of take the piss out of Eubank, but that guy was tough as old boots, man. Great chin, heart of a lion. He was tough, man. Eubank Senior. Big up to Truth Son, man. Thank you for the contribution. Much appreciated. Happy Friday to you. And yeah, big up to you, man, for all of the support that you show, man. Big up to Truth Son, man. He always drops by every single time. Every single time. Virgil Ortiz reminds me of Mikey Garcia, especially with his punch technique, stance, and defense. Yeah, I do see it a little bit. J9898, especially with the punch technique. I do see it. Like he's like a more aggressive version of Mikey Garcia. I do see it a bit. I do see it. Yep. Froch versus Steve Collins. Fire. Great fight. Do you know what? I think Steve Collins might actually nick that fight. I don't know. It'll be a war. It'll definitely be a war. But would Steve Collins do enough? I'm not sure. It's a hard one, that's a hard one. I might lean towards Froch. I think I'll lean towards Froch. But Steve Collins could box a bit as well. Not just fight, he could box a bit. I'm not sure about that fight, to be honest. Yeah, Eubank seemed like a cold starter. Yeah, Eubank Sr. was in a lot of fights. Yeah, Ward Kovalev wasn't a robbery in my opinion. Could have gone either way. Same with Canelo versus Golovkin, both fights. Nah, I don't know, man. I thought Canelo Golovkin 1 was a stonewall robbery, to be honest. I think Golovkin Canelo 1 was up there with like Julio Cesar Chavez, Pernell Whitaker. I thought it was that bad. I thought there was a clear winner, clear loser in the first fight. Second fight was close, fair enough, but first fight to me was a stonewall robbery. Eubank was often weight drained. I think Froch would outwork him, but I can see Eubank dropping him. Yeah, it'd be a great fight, bro. Yeah, Eubank when he said, "I'm better in all ways." I'm better in all ways than you, James. Better boxer, more heart, and better looking. Yeah. Can or bottle? We're on the cans, bro. We're on the cans, man. Yeah, bro. People like listening to fucking videos about people getting cut up. It's interesting, man. Interesting. Yeah, it's doing well, bro. It's doing well. Yeah, Groves in the Boxing Life Stories podcast looked like a McDonald's manager. Yeah, I know. I saw that. Guy looked hilarious. Guy's hair transplants all over the gaff. Shaylin Naidu. I've not seen you here before, bro. So big up to you. Big up to you, Shaylin. I'm saying bro. I'm assuming you're a bro. But yeah, that's a messed up video. Definitely. Yeah, it's like he builds confidence as the fight goes on. Perhaps he's really good at reading his opponents. Yeah. Yeah, George Groves is funny. He's got good delivery, Pigeon. He's quite witty, George Groves. He's quite witty. Del, if you do an Alan Hemming one for your second channel, that could do you good views because it was on mainstream. Yeah, I thought about that. Stories like that. Yeah, Collins was a good boxer, bro. He was a good boxer. He's one of those guys who could like do a bit of everything. He was basically like a jack of all trades when it came to boxing. He never really was like one of those guys who made you go wow, but he could do everything to a decent standard, and sometimes those guys can go a long way. Thoughts on the Elvis Rodriguez loss and Zepeda's performance against Lundy? Yeah, Elvis Rodriguez to me looked absolutely awful. Methodical, slow, cumbersome, predictable. All he was doing was throwing a jab, left hand, right hook. That's all he was throwing. Like there was no combinations, there was no dynamism, there were no. The ability to cut the ring off was poor. Couldn't fight on the inside. I felt Elvis Rodriguez was completely exposed, and he's got a lot of work to do. I'm not saying he can't be something in the future, but right now he is so far away, it's unreal. As for Jose Zepeda, I think it was a bad style matchup. Zepeda's always going to look better when he's got an aggressive guy fighting him, a guy who's going to give him counterpunch opportunities. And Hank Lundy doesn't do that. He's more awkward. He's more passive. I think it was just a bad style matchup for Zepeda, personally. Collins versus Groves. Now, this will be a good fight. Collins had that granite chin, man, and he would keep on coming. I think Groves would definitely win the first half of that fight. Definitely. It's whether he could stay strong in the second half, basically. I would say Groves on points or maybe a Steve Collins late stoppage. That's a very good fight, though. That's a very good fight. Eubank stopped the coked up Nigel Benn. Respect. How does Teofimo do against the top three 140-pounders? I mean, against Taylor, Ramirez, and Prograis. Can Teo beat them? Right now, I would say no. Listen, really, I would need to see Teo fight a decent 140-pounder first before he fought those guys. Let's see Teo before he fights one of the main guys. Let's see Teo fight, I don't know, Zepeda or Postal. Let's see how he looks against that level, and then we can judge. But right now, I'd say no, personally. Did you just assume somebody's gender, Del? Oh, dear. Yeah, don't watch it, AZ. Do not watch it. He basically went insane, bro. He basically went insane. Started talking shit, and he couldn't handle the heat, essentially. Big up, Del. In regards to UFC, what's your prediction for Poirier-McGregor 3? I've got Poirier again. Stoppage. Yeah, Collins was very underrated and tough as nails, indeed. Indeed. Your channel's doing great. I'm into murder and crime stuff, but your description of those videos are crazy. I couldn't bring myself to watch them. They sound really brutal and not worth watching. Yeah, they're not worth watching, bro. There's no doubt about it. They're not worth watching. See, that sort of thing's never really affected me from like, in terms of like the visceral nature of it, I've never really been affected by gore for whatever reason. Even when I first saw one of those sort of videos, it never really affected me like that. The only thing that affects me is more so, like the emotional part of it. So like something like Three Guys, One Hammer. I saw that video when I was at school, and it wasn't the gore that affected me. It was the fact that it was an innocent person just being fucking slain in that sort of way. You know, a guy with a family, a wife. That's what kind of got me. But the actual gore doesn't really affect me for whatever reason. Maybe I'm a fucking psychopath. I don't know. Maybe I'm a fucking weirdo. Collins in his prime was the kind of fighter who could adjust to any style. Yeah, he was very versatile, Steve Collins. He was very versatile. Shaylin says, it's disgusting, mate. Del said, don't go search it up, so I did. It's absolutely horrible, yeah. Horrendous, bro. That's one of the rare exceptions, Shaylin, when it came to gore, that actually kind of grossed me out. That's one of the rare exceptions, that video. It's horrible. Elvis has left the building, indeed. Yep, Collins' hypnosis trick was classic. Yeah, Eubank really brought into it as well. And yeah, he was very intelligent. Even now, when you hear him speak, like he's well-spoken, very articulate. He got out at the right time, Steve Collins. I'd still lean towards Crawford, Razor. I'd lean towards Crawford. Again, I would want to see Taylor have at least one fight at 147 against like a mid-range guy, like a Josecito Lopez. I'd like to see how Taylor transitions first at the weight. Steve Collins is in the Royal Military Police in London now as an instructor. Interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, Nordic. I wouldn't be surprised. If Groves could hang on, I think he would nick a decision because of his early work. But we know how Groves' gas tank was. That'd be a very good fight, though. That'd be a very good fight. Yeah, it would be fun to do a super middleweight tournament on like a panel or something. That's a good idea. It's a good idea. Who do you dislike more, John Fury or Teofimo's father? To be honest with you, I've not really heard too much from Teofimo's father. I don't really like research Teofimo's like that. To be honest, I see a lot more of John Fury living in the UK. So I'll say John Fury. Tell you the truth, I'd say John Fury. I think John Fury gets a little too much airtime. Teo still has Loma and Haney problems. Teo's dad's a moron. Teo said he wants Taylor immediately after he moved up to 140. I'd like to see it. No, I'm not, no. Yeah, Taylor has bigger fights than Teofimo. He does, yeah. Like the Crawford fight would be big. The Crawford fight would be big, but listen, man, if I'm Josh Taylor, yeah, it depends, of course, how he can make the weight. But if he can make the weight relatively okay, I wouldn't mind seeing Josh Taylor stay around for a little while at 140. So have a homecoming, fight Jack Catterall, Mando, get him out of the way. After that, look at a Pro Grace rematch, Mikey Garcia, or even Teofimo, a big money fight. I'd like to see Josh Taylor have a few more fights at 140, defend that undisputed crown. Your voice and description, like Packer said, makes that channel, Del. I reckon it could do 50k by December. Fingers crossed, man. You never know. You never know. Yeah, I saw that as well, AA. I saw that as well. Yeah, Del saying don't search it up really means search it up right now. Yeah, I like Saw Apology. I do like Saw. I preferred the first sort of 3 movies though. I think after that it got a little silly, to be honest. But I do like Saw. I do like Saw. Yeah. Yeah, I hope not, Nordic. I hope not. But Eddie's not exactly been filling me with confidence. I hope he takes the fight. I hope he takes it. It'll be a good fight, man. If he could beat Usyk in a legitimate fashion, it's a good win, and vice versa for Usyk. Why not have that fight? It'll be a good fight. Can Pacquiao beat Spence? Spence is a big favourite for me. Yeah, listen, man. I think naturally I've got to lean towards Spence. Eventually, age does matter. Pacquiao's 42 years old, smaller man, long, hard career. But listen, man, Pacquiao's got a chance. I can never rule out Manny Pacquiao. I can never rule out Manny Pacquiao. He needs to start that fight fast, though. He needs to start that fight fast. Catch Errol Spence Jr. with some hard shit. Make him second guess himself. Build up an early lead, and then kind of from that point onwards, attack in spurts, and use that experience. But he needs to get Errol Spence Jr.'s respect very early on in that fight. In my opinion, can't afford to let Errol get comfortable or have that forward momentum. He needs to give something Errol to think about. We'll see. I'm looking forward to it, though. I don't like gore, but I can handle it more than most sometimes, yeah. Again, I don't like watching those sort of videos, man, but I've just seen a lot of them. I watched a lot of those sort of videos when I was a teenager. When you go through that edgy teenager phase. Yeah, Frotch was like concrete. Yeah, very durable. Bro, I'm not even going to fucking describe it on this channel, bro. It's not worth watching. That's all I'll say. It's not worth watching. It's not worth watching. People are saying Teofimo's dad is the new Angel Garcia. I think he's slightly better than Angel, to be honest. I don't think he's as bad as Angel. No, do you know what? I've still not seen Spiral yet. I've not seen Spiral yet. I need to see it. Apologies saying it's average. I've heard mixed reviews on it. Spiral. Some say it's decent. Some say it's pretty average. Some say it's shit. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Exactly, Pigeon. Yeah, Spence starts too slow. Pacquiao needs to go for it. Yeah, he needs to build up a head of steam early on. Get Spence's respect. But yeah, I'm not ruling out Manny Pacquiao. I'm not ruling out Manny Pacquiao. I'd love to see him do it. I'd love to see him win the fight. Only decent thing in the film was Chris Rock's character. Oh yeah, Chris Rock's in that. Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's got a puncher's chance, but it's Tyson Fury's fight to lose. Tyson would need to do something dumb for Wilder to win that fight. Yeah, exactly, Nordic. Yeah, Spence is nothing that Pacquiao has not beaten easily before. Only way he wins is if Manny is shot or by a robbery. Yeah. Well, that's yeah. I mean, listen, man. If we get the same Manny from the Keith Thurman fight, Manny's got a great chance. He's got a great chance if that's the case. And if that is the same Manny, I also think it's going to be a fucking just a great fight in general, just fan friendly. But if Errol Spence does get caught early on, and he feels that power, Will Errol Spence turn into the boxer like he did against Mikey Garcia? Because I heard Fight Film make that point when he was talking about this fight. And I never thought of it, but it'd be interesting to see how, if Manny does start quick, how's Errol going to react to that? I want to see Manny put it on Errol early on for the first couple of rounds, then go from there, but be interesting. Who will Ugas fight now? I thought he was going to fight Spence, but now obviously not. I mean, somebody was saying earlier that a Porter rematch is in talks. I wouldn't mind seeing Ugas versus Keith Thurman. I'd like to see Ugas versus Keith Thurman. What's your opinion on people who said Pacquiao beat Mayweather? It's their opinion. I've only seen that fight once, to tell you the truth. And that was the night of the fight, obviously very late in the UK. And I thought that fight was a lot closer than people than the mainstream said it was. I had Floyd winning on the night, but I do need to rewatch the fight. But I've not seen it since the day it happened. And I don't really have a big desire as of right now to go back and watch it. But I thought it was closer than the mainstream said it was, and most people said it was. Physically, Froch reminds me of Beterbiev. I can see it. Yeah, the build is very similar, actually. Yeah, the build is very similar. Like, he's got that physique where it looks like, almost look like, it kind of looks like the guy's made out of fucking wood. It's weird. Pigeon had Floyd Pacquiao 6'6" Ballfest. Angel's a funny crackhead. Tio's dad is an unfunny crackhead. Porter thinks this is a real fight and he sparred Pacquiao. I think it's going to be a great fight, man. I really do. I think stylistically it's going to gel. I think it's going to be a great fight. I'm certain Errol Spence Jr. is going to have kittens early on. He's going to have a lot of problems early on. He'll have fits. It's how Errol Spence reacts to that, which is interesting to me. It's how he reacts to that. I hope Manny's got 12 rounds in him. Hopefully he's allowed to juice. It's going to be... I'm really looking forward to it. Again, I'm not one of these guys who I don't really do all-time great lists or anything like that. All I really care about, me personally, is seeing good fights now. You know, that's all I care about. But Manny's I can't say nothing bad about Manny Pacquiao. His career's just been it's unbelievable. When you look at the resume, when you look at the accolades, who he's beaten, how many weight classes he's gone through, the records that he holds, from oldest welterweight champion, 8 weight classes, 5 lineal titles, numerous Hall of Famers, numerous world champions he's beat. Manny Pacquiao's resume is ridiculous, and at 42 years old, he's showing more ambition than many young fighters in their primes currently in boxing. I mean, we look at Jamal Charlo, for example, and I don't mean to dig him out, but Jamal Charlo, 31, 32 years old, and we're happy that he's fighting Sergey Derevyanchenko. When Manny Pacquiao, 42 years old, he's out here fighting Errol Spence Jr. while being a part-time boxer as well. You know, there's levels to it, man. Not just in terms of skill, but in terms of attitude and desire to be the best and leave a legacy. I think Manny might put an absolute beating on Spence the way he did Margarito. I don't think it'll be that bad, bro. I don't think it'll be. I don't think he's got the gas tank to do that sort of performance these days. But I think early on he could potentially give Errol a lot of problems. Hey Dale, what's your thoughts on the cowardly punch? King hit punching. Punching somebody from behind. Would you call that murder? A very good MMA fighter died in New Zealand last week. Sad. I've not heard of that story, bro. I would need to watch it. I could see those Ferrari cuts opening up early in the fight. Fucking hell. I'm sick of Tank Davis. He cherry picks his opponents, ducks big fights, wins interim titles, and calls himself a champion. Your thoughts? I can't disagree, bro. I can't disagree. Talented fighter, but I mean, again, very selective matchmaking. Always goes for the weakest champion or fake champion, regular champion, whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, Nordic man. Yeah, I've got Lomachenko, but I think it's a very hard fight. I think it's a very hard comeback fight. Skill for skill, listen, man. Lomachenko's on a different stratosphere to Nakatani, but Nakatani's so big, he's so strong, applies decent pressure, he hits relatively hard, durable as fuck. I think physically that could be a very hard fight. Technically, no, Loma should beat him, but I think that fight's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. I like the fight, though. I like the fight. It's a good fight, man. I've got Matthias winning Jiho Park. I've made my mind up. I've got Matthias winning, but it's going to be a good fight. Not sure, crazy. Not sure. Zanabek to me's been hit and miss as a pro so far, so it's a big test. It's a big test. No idea. Manny's stuck in Josh Taylor, the pound for pound king. In all seriousness, I don't get why Manny doesn't fight in the Philippines. Imagine the tickets he would sell in a stadium. Yeah, exactly, bro. I mean, Manny Pacquiao at this stage, who would hold it against him if he just had like a retirement tour in the Philippines or the UAE or Dubai? Nobody would hold it against him if he just, fought exhibition fights for big money or lesser fighters. He could easily do that. But he's fighting fucking Errol Spence Jr. after fighting Keith Thurman. It's crazy, man. Crazy. This guy would fight anybody, Manny Pacquiao. And people still run... listen, man. People still run with a narrative that fucking Manny Pacquiao ducked fucking Terrence Crawford. Are you serious? It's crazy to me, man. It's crazy to me. But there you go. I think Pacquiao's had a better career than Mayweather with the higher highs. When you ask some who's the greatest heavyweight, they say Ali or Lewis, not Marciano. Yeah, I agree. I think Pacquiao is greater than Floyd, no doubt. Like the level of accomplishments between both guys, Manny has far more accomplishments in his career. He's beaten more guys close or in their prime. He's beaten more Hall of Famers, all-time greats. He's won more world titles across more divisions. He's had more lineal titles. I think Pacquiao achieved more in boxing than Floyd, no doubt about it. Yeah, they could literally sell hundreds of thousands of tickets in the Philippines if they had a stadium big enough for it. Yeah, exactly, bro. Exactly. If Manny beats Spence, that would be GOAT status. That would be crazy, bro. And again, I wouldn't be shocked if it happened. I wouldn't be shocked if it happened. Who are some of the best outside fighters in history, in your opinion? Again, I mean, I can tell you the guys I like Tommy Hearns, for example, a guy I really like. Larry Holmes, Vladimir Klitschko to a certain extent. Yeah, he ducked the great Zahir Rahim, yeah. Yeah, they're crazy, bro. Crazy, man. I've got Devin Haney on points, Razor. I've got Devin Haney on points. I think that's the safe bet. All I really want to see in that fight is Devin Haney get his chin checked, see what he's made of. But it's a good little fight. It's a good little step up. We'll find out a bit more about Devin Haney. If he's a complete hype job, he'll lose. But I think it's a decent fight. Yeah, none of the modern fighters will go to the Philippines to fight Pacquiao. Imagine Pacquiao being fueled by his own people. Scary. Yeah. And that's another thing when people talk about Mayweather and Pacquiao and the comparisons. Manny's fought the best part of the last 20 years abroad, away from home. But again, people don't really take that into account when comparing both fighters. But yeah, you're right. Can you imagine? It'd be crazy. Like, look at the atmosphere for the Lucas Matisse fight. That was in Malaysia, wasn't it? And look at the atmosphere there. Imagine that in the Philippines, man. It'd be crazy. Yeah, Nate Campbell is a fucking clown, Nordic. Maybe Manny doesn't want Filipinos to spend their money on him. Yeah, exactly. Maybe. But I'd love to see Manny Pacquiao fight in the Philippines before he retires, just to see the scenes. It'd be amazing. Yeah, it's all a load of nonsense, man. It's all a load of nonsense. Yeah, not a big fan of Vladimir, to be honest. All of the WWE tactics and his other antics, yeah. Yeah, Vladimir definitely at times was unwatchable, but when he got it right, I thought he was a real nice fighter to watch. Like the Kubrat Pulev fight, one of my favorite performances from Vladimir. When he got it right, I thought Vladimir was great to watch. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I'm Team Linares, but he's chinny, and I think Haney knocks him out. Linares is faster and more skillful than him, but his chin doesn't give him problems. He beats Haney, yeah. I don't know, man. I think it's a good fight. It's a good fight. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked, actually, if Haney stops Linares. You know, Linares, he's got paper mache skin. Like you say, his chin isn't great either. I wouldn't be shocked if Haney stops him. I don't think Haney's the pillow puncher some people make out. He's clearly not a fucking one-hitter quitter, but I think Devin Haney hits a little harder than people expect, or than people give him credit for, sorry. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he stops Linares. Haney just needs to brush up on his punch technique a bit, like especially his hooks. Like his left hook is really slappy, for example. Doesn't always get full extension onto his shots. If Haney kind of brushes up a little bit on his punch technique, I think he'll punch a bit harder. But we'll see, man. We'll see. It's a good fight. What do you think is next for Luke Campbell? I mean, to tell you the truth, Michael Van Gerwen, retirement for me. I mean, I'm not particularly interested in seeing Luke Campbell again. What's really out there for him? Well, there's nothing really out there. Maybe a domestic fight with Lewis Ritson, maybe. If he wants to go that route, that'd be a fun little fight. But in terms of world level, yeah, the guy's really got no way back, in my opinion. Can't see him coming back to world level. I'd watch it, bro. I'd watch it. No doubt. I'd watch it. I'd give it a watch. I do think you'll see him come back. I've got a feeling we'll see him back. He's always talked about that, George Foreman's record. He's always talked about that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see him come back. And why not, man? Why not? Especially right now, when you look at how fractured the heavyweight division is, how up in the air it is, I think you could see a few belts become vacant in the next 18 months. Why not? If he wants to try, I'd be for it. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it. Imagine Vlad beats Fury, Usyk, and Joshua, and they unify in Ukraine. The tears I would drink would fuel me for months. Be crazy, bro. He'll probably still come back and give a lot of guys fucking serious problems, Vladimir. Like, he still looks in great nick, man. He still looks in great shape. And he's still sparring as well, Vladimir Klitschko. He's put out a couple of clips now and again with him sparring. So he's definitely keeping in shape. He's definitely keeping around boxing. So you never know. I think you'll see it. I think you'll see him come back. I really do. And I kind of want to see it. I kind of want to see it. I think Haney's going to be looking to make a statement, but is Linares the guy to do it against, seeing as he didn't Gamboa? Yeah, mate, it'll be interesting, bro. It'll be very interesting. I think there's more danger coming back with Linares in comparison to Gamboa. Charlo or Castano, do you think they're going to give it to him if Castano wins? No, Castano needs to get a stoppage or win super clear. But anything close goes to Charlo. But I do think Charlo will win legitimately. I think Charlo wins in a legit fashion. But it's a good fight, though. Castano's definitely going to give Charlo problems. Castano, though, in that fight needs to be all of the way in all of the time. He needs to stay on Charlo's chest because Charlo's not a great inside fighter. Jamel Charlo's not a great inside fighter. So, yeah, Castano just needs to find a way to stay on the inside for as long as possible. If he can do that, he's got a great chance. But, yeah, we'll see. It's a good fight. It's a good fight. It'll be hilarious, Nordic. It'll be hilarious. Vladimir beats Dillian White all day, every day. Listen, if he's 70% of what he was, I agree. I agree. It'd be hilarious, though. Can you imagine if Vladimir comes back and wins a title? I'd love to see it. Yeah, Nordic. Exactly. It won't happen. Sorry, it's not going to happen anytime soon. But who have you got? AJ or Wilder? It used to be the top fight 3 years ago. Yeah. I'd lean towards Joshua, but again, it's hard to say with Wilder. What state is it? What state is this guy in? Like mentally, it's hard to say with Wilder, but I'd lean towards Joshua. Yeah, David Haber Saviour. Yeah. And also, what's it, Tony Bellew? What did he say? What did Tony Bellew say? David Price is the heir to the Klitschko throne. Christ. Tony Bellew. I'm not sure, Razor, to be honest. I'm not sure, bro. I'd probably take Carlos Monzon over Ray Robinson, to tell you the truth. And I'd probably take Monzon over both. Can you imagine if Vitali came back at like 49, 50 years old? All Vladimir has to do is fight Trevor Bryan, oldest heavyweight champion. Yep. Can you imagine? Trevor Bryan is garbage, man. He really is trash. He made fucking Bermain Stavern look like a live body, man. Garbage. He said those exact words, Nordic man. I can't do a Scouse accent. I'll try it, but yeah. David Price is the heir to the Klitschko throne. Christ, man. Now I'm keeping it solo, bro. I'm keeping it solo. I'm going to jump off in a minute anyway. I'm going to jump off in a minute. I've got a 50-year-old Vitali beating Wilder. Speaking of the Klitschkos, who do you think was the better brother? Obviously, the whole, Vitali was much more of a natural fighter. His chin was better. I think stamina. I think Vitali was more of a natural fighter, and his style was just so unorthodox. That kind of lean back style, a good lead hand control. He could attack at angles, throw a lot of punches. Vladimir was more of a textbook technical boxer puncher / counter puncher. I always try and picture what would happen if those two guys fought each other. I think in the boxing match, I think Vladimir would get the better of Vitali. If those two guys fought and it turned into a boxing match, I think Vladimir would get the better of Vitali. But if Vitali switched up, started to be more aggressive, started to walk Vladimir down, I think Vladimir would be in big trouble. I think head-to-head, Vitali... I'll probably lean towards Vitali, to be honest, head-to-head. But I think Vladimir goes down as the greater boxer kind of thing. I think Vladimir achieved a lot more. Be a good fight, though. Vitali would smoke Ruiz, right? Yeah. Can you imagine like a prime Vitali versus Andy Ruiz? That little fat boy will get beat down. Can you imagine? That wouldn't even be a competitive fight. Not even a competitive fight. That would be Chris Arreola 2.0. Will Vladimir revive German boxing, or will he just fight in the UK and US? I'm not sure, bro. Probably fight in the US, man. Yeah, Vitali, but Vlad had the better career. Yeah, that's fair. That's how I kind of see it. Yeah, a prime Stavern would have knocked out Trevor Bryan. That's how bad Trevor Bryan is. Yeah. I want to jump on a stream soon. I'm getting withdrawal symptoms. I need to say offensive things live on air and cause controversy. It's an addiction. Wilder breaks his right hand on Vitali's jaw and quits. Yeah, Vitali was a fucking gangster, man. Chin made of iron. Tough dude, man. Tough dude. I think Vitali was more talented, but he didn't take boxing as serious as Vladimir, yeah. I was always impressed with Vladimir's mental strength as a fighter. People always make out that Vladimir had no heart, but every single time he got, like, stopped, every one of those losses, like, he always tried to continue to fight. You know, even in, like, the Lamont Brewster fight, the Ross Purity fight, Corey Sanders, all of these fights he tried to continue. Joshua fight as well. He always showed great heart in those defeats, but the thing that really impresses me, I think it was after he got knocked out by Lamont Peterson, and this was in the Klitschko documentary. After he got knocked out by Lamont Brewster, sorry. Well, I said Peterson, but yeah, after he got knocked out by Brewster, his own brother said he should retire, but he still had the fortitude to fucking knuckle down, continue, and he went on to do what he did. To me, that's fucking just insane mental fortitude. Can you imagine if your own brother said, you need to quit this, you're not good enough? It's crazy, but he actually ignored that and actually stuck to his guns, stuck to his goal, and he achieved what he achieved. It's crazy. Rumor has it that Vitali beat on Vlad in sparring. I wouldn't be surprised, bro. I really wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, exactly, bro. He gave Andy Ruiz fits, dropped him, won rounds. That'd be a really interesting fight, you know. That'd be a really interesting fight. Because Corey Sanders, man, had power in that left hand. He had power in that left hand and fast hands as well. If he could close the distance and put sequences of punches together, he could definitely get to Wilder, overwhelm him, hurt him, definitely drop him. That's a hard fight, you know. He could get fucking leveled coming in, or he could knock out Wilder up close. That's a good fight, actually. That's a good fight. Thing is, with Corey Sanders, he never took boxing all that seriously. He was more interested in golf. He liked golf more than boxing, man. But yeah, that would have been a good fight. That would have been a good fight. To me, that's a roll of the dice type of fight. Yeah, I meant Lamont Brewster, man. Yeah. But anyway, lads, I'm going to wrap this one up. I need to make my dinner. It's like 9:20, and I've still not had anything. So I'm going to wrap this one up, guys. So have a nice weekend. Peace, guys.